Have you ever been entranced by someone's story, only to feel a nagging doubt at the back of your mind? Their words glided like butter on warm toast, and their eyes sparkled with sincerity. Yet, there was that odd twitch in their smile, or the bizarre shift in details when you casually mentioned it later. Something in your gut whispered, "This isn't quite right." Welcome to the intoxicating world of pathological liars, where reality takes a backseat and narrative takes the wheel. Hey everyone, welcome back to Psychologist Jeep, the quiet corner of the internet for overthinkers, silent observers, people with exactly 3 friends and, of course, the secret liar who pretends they're fine when they're absolutely not. Don't worry, you're in good company here. We don't fix people, we simply understand the chaos, laugh at it, and remind each other that none of us are as put together as we pretend to be. So if you've ever lied with a smile, said "I'm okay" when you were quietly breaking, or felt like a side character covering up your own story, welcome home. Before we start, take a second to like, share, and leave a comment. Let's explore the mind together. Most of us dabble in harmless, little fibs like telling a friend their outfit is fabulous when you think it's a bit too bright. These small deceptions serve as social lubricant, making the gears of our interactions groove a little smoother. But oh boy, pathological lying strides in like a rock star at a quiet coffee shop. It transcends those innocent white lies. We're talking about a relentless urge to reshape reality, as if it's a clay sculpture waiting to be molded that will both for the liar and themselves. And how does one end up in this twisted game of make-believe? Psychologists have furrowed their brows over this too. Imagine growing up in a house where the truth is like an unwelcome guest thrown out the door. If a child learns that honesty invites chaos, what choice do they have but to whip up a tale? Over the years, fiction becomes a second skin, and before they know it, they're standing in the spotlight of their own chaotic theater of life, lost in the scripts they've created. Some experts offer an even deeper exploration of these minds, linking pathological liars with traits like narcissism or unresolved trauma. These aren't just fibbers, but rather complex characters with backstories that could fill volumes. It's chilling to think that for some, this relentless urge is not a conscious choice but an instinctual survival mechanism, their minds crafting fictions as effortlessly as you and I might breathe. Picture it. While most of us ponder whether to be honest or simply convenient, for the pathological liar, the truth option isn't even on the table. Their tales burst forth, faster than they can assess whether they even make sense. It's like watching a high-speed painting session where the brush never dawdles, creating vibrant, alternate realities within heartbeats. But don't be fooled. These storytellers aren't out to create havoc. They are artful weavers of human emotions. They know the sweet symphony of empathy and curiosity, how stories tingle at the human core. They craft their lies with such skill that you find yourself drawn in, eager to embrace the narrative, only to realize later that the fabric is full of holes. The paradox here is rich. These captivating narratives construct bridges, but those paths are built on quicksand, leading nowhere good. The hard truth hits harder as the tide of reality rolls in. No matter how charming and persuasive the storyteller might be, the sandcastle they've built inevitably crumbles. The relationships they strove to nurture and fortify dissipate under waves of disclosure. In the end, it's the loneliness of their artistry that becomes their prison, restricted by lies, longing for genuine connection, yet caught in a web of manufactured truth. Navigating a relationship with a pathological liar is akin to riding a roller coaster designed by a prankster. One minute, you're thrilled by the ride, feeling an exciting connection. The next, you're hanging upside down, wondering if the whole thing was a mirage. It's a wild, dizzying experience that might leave you questioning everything about your bond. Did you miss the red flags, or were they just expertly hidden behind a charming smile? Sooner or later, doubt creeps in like an uninvited guest at a party. Was it all a giant game of charades? Did you misunderstand the plot? Or has there been a con artist doing a masterclass in deception right before your eyes? Turns out, pathological liars have a few tricks up their sleeves. They thrive on gaslighting, twisting memories like a pretzel while making you wonder if you took a wrong turn in the labyrinth of their elaborate stories. It's not just the liar winding themselves into a tangled web. Everyone around is caught in the chaotic whirlpool of altered truths. But why engage in such mental acrobatics? Picture a juggler desperately trying to keep their balls in the air, fiercely determined to present a flawless performance. Deep down, these fabricators are often wrestling with the chaos of their own identity, seeking the upper hand in a world that feels squirrely and unpredictable. Many engage in this deceptive dance to bathe in the sweet nectar of admiration. They crave control over their narrative, hoping to paint themselves as the heroes in a story they're constantly rewriting. But beneath the bravado lies a heartbreaking vulnerability. Peel away the glossy layer of lies, and you unveil not an iron shield but a fragile being terrified that their authentic self won't live up to the concocted image they've created. Imagine a child donning a mask at Halloween, initially slipping it on to face their fears. Over time, it turns into a second skin, merging with their identity. The person behind the mask is lost, unable to differentiate between reality and the facade. That's what pathological lying does to the essence of a person. It morphs them into their false self, creating a division so profound they may forget what authenticity feels like. Now, not all liars have the same game plan. Some are power-hungry gladiators, while others are personal storytelling machines, and some simply spin tales for no discernible reason at all. Yet, regardless of motivation, they pay a hefty price for their short-term gains: admiration, fleeting sympathy, or a burst of attention. The long-term cost. The very lifeblood of relationships, trust and intimacy, leaving their existence feeling like a hollow mirage. The sting of betrayal, especially from someone you cherished, hits harder than an unexpected pie to the face. Beyond the initial shock lies the grim realization that the moments you held dear might have been painted in shades of fiction. Those sweet conversations replayed in your mind? They may just be figments of your imagination, crafted from a tangled web of deceit. The scars from this kind of betrayal cut deeper than mere words, embedding themselves into your reality in a way that lingers and reverberates long after the drama has faded into the background. And yet, amidst this heaviness thrives a paradox. How can something so intensely painful offer lessons that spark resilience? The pain of betrayal reveals truths about relationships, trust, and the intricate tapestry of human connections, urging us to navigate with caution, but also to embrace authenticity fiercely when we find it. Life's too short for mask wearing among the people who matter most. Pathological liars are often trapped in a web of their own creation. Studies indicate that the more one lies, the more it rewires their brain pathways, making deception second nature. This slippery slope towards habitual lying lowers the emotional stakes. Deceiving becomes less of a big deal. However, this ease comes at a grave cost. Relationships are left in shambles, trust vanishes, and an identity crisis lurks beneath the surface. In a world crafted of half-truths, one must ponder, who in the world are you? This existential dilemma raises some eyebrow-raising questions. If someone lies so convincingly that they believe their own tales, does the truth still exist for them? Is their identity a genuine reflection of who they are, or merely a jumble of stories repeated so often they've morphed into perceived truths? The lines between reality and delusion blur, teasing the notion that perhaps they are both misleading and misled. It's a bit uncomfortable, right? The reality is, we all spin narratives to cope with life. Sure, we might not be pathological liars, but we certainly tell ourselves fables hiding behind deliciously crafted excuses for a relationship gone sideways or dreams we shelve for practicality. These narratives soften the harshness of reality, providing cozy couches for our thoughts to lounge on. This makes the pathological liar less of a freakish oddity and more of an exaggerated mirror, reflecting our intrinsic need to reframe truth rather than shatter under its weight. So how do we navigate the murky waters of interacting with someone who weaves their own version of reality? Psychologists suggest a cocktail of compassion and boundaries. A sprinkle of compassion is essential because often, these fabrications stem from deep-rooted pain. But don't drown in their narrative. Establishing boundaries becomes your lifeboat, sustaining your own sanity while avoiding falling into that rabbit hole of illusions. Remember, their lies are not a reflection of your value, but rather an echo of their internal battleground. It's a tough lesson to grasp, recognizing the masquerade without yanking off the mask. Acknowledging the vulnerability beneath the facade, while accepting that some truths can't simply be forced out into the open. Pathological lying runs deeper than mere deception. It taps into the essence of identity. It's all about clinging to stories that cushion us when life delivers gut punches we feel unworthy to handle. The darker side of this saga is the mounting tragedy of walking through a world where even the self is cloaked in mistrust. But wait, there's an intriguing twist awaiting. If you've been tuned in, you might be asking what unfolds when a pathological liar finally gazes into the abyss of their own creation. What happens when the carefully constructed mask shifts, if only momentarily, revealing who they really are? That chaotic meld of revelation and introspection is what we'll explore next. When these fabricators face their true selves, it rarely resembles a grand old melodrama of confessions. More often, it's the delicate unraveling that blindsides them. It's in those small, muted moments of confrontation that the essence of their deceit surfaces. There aren't any fireworks or gut-wrenching breakdowns. Rather, it's often a subtle shift, like the flicker of a light bulb in a dimly lit room. This quiet encounter with self can be more transformative than any bombastic crescendo, exposing raw truths that shatter illusions, though often uninvited. So, as the story unfolds, witnessing that intimate, genuine moment becomes an essential chapter in understanding the complex tapestry of identity and truth, revealing just how profound the journey of self-discovery can be. Staring into the mirror, there is a hesitation, a pause that feels like eternity. For many, that fleeting moment sparks the unsettling realization that the story they've been telling might not reflect the life they're actually living. It's like peeling back layers of an onion, revealing the raw, sometimes pungent truths lurking underneath. Confronting that reality can be downright terrifying. After all, who wants to expose themselves to vulnerability, shame, or the heavy toll of past grief? Instead of embracing truth, it's far easier to spin tales and weave fabrications that keep everyone, including themselves, in the dark. Who wouldn't choose a fanciful narrative over the disquiet of authenticity? Life's circus of characters and plots can be much more enticing than facing the starkness of reality. Yet, somewhere in the depths of their soul, they harbor an insatiable yearning for alignment and a craving for their spoken words to resonate with their lived experience. For pathological liars, despite their twisted tapestry of deception, that longing for truth exists, albeit often entangled in denial. These individuals just might be their own biggest critics, running from an uncomfortable reality where they may be revealed. In those rare moments of honesty, however, everything shifts. Suddenly, they might let slip a confession or shy away from lying, almost like their own defense mechanisms cost them that precious connection with others. It's easy to toss judgment at the pathological liar, labeling them as selfish or deceitful. Sure, sometimes they are. But more often than not, their lies stem from a desire to shield themselves rather than inflict harm. Understanding this tangled web of motivations is crucial for cultivating compassion. When you strip away the dramatic plots, you often find a person who never felt safe enough to embrace their authentic self. Now, here's the kicker. Confronting a pathological liar with raw anger is usually like throwing gasoline on a fire. It only stokes their defenses, driving them deeper into their comforting labyrinth of lies. But when approached with calm clarity, like a gentle breeze brushing over a turbulent ocean, something amazing can happen. Sometimes, they might finally glimpse the possibility that the world won't collapse simply because they decided to speak their truth. While not every liar transforms, for those who can, it's akin to that painful moment of shedding old skin. Disorienting, yes, but liberating all the same. Once embraced, truth doesn't stand as a looming threat but rather emerges as a newfound source of freedom. They begin to realize that honesty isn't so perilous after all, allowing them to breathe a little easier. For those living alongside these tangled storytellers, the moral of this tale is just as powerful. You can't pry honesty from someone's clenched fists, nor can you shove them into an authentic existence. However, you can nurture your own clarity and maintain a firm grasp on reality. By securing your own trust in yourself, you can create space for honesty to flourish, even in the midst of chaotic narratives. There's something profoundly human in navigating this complicated realm of truth and deception. Life is like a masquerade ball where everyone dons a mask, and some are more complex than others. While pathological lying takes this to the extreme, we all tell little fibs or put on facades to navigate social waters. Whether it's telling your buddy you totally read that book or convincing yourself that those extra potato chips aren't that bad, we sprinkle some theatrics into our day-to-day existence. We tell ourselves stories not just to deceive, but to sculpt our identities in a chaotic world. Underneath the layers of embellishments and little lies, the crux of the matter lies in the universal struggle for acceptance. It's not just a game of smoke and mirrors, it's a quest to be truly seen. The real art lies in finding those moments when we can unmask ourselves, stand bare before the people we love, and proclaim, "This is me." It's a delicate dance of vulnerability and authenticity that we often shy away from, but it is vital for genuine connection. Now, let's shine a light on those who craft elaborate tales of pathological liars, if you will. Their narratives stem not from malice but are often rooted in a whirlwind of fear and longing. It's fascinating how a person so adept at spinning stories could be desperate to be accepted, understood, and loved. And while we scratch our heads trying to understand the beginning and the end of their fabrications, we must remember they are, at their core, seeking something that feels real amid their self-created chaos. You see, it's easy to feel tangled in someone else's web of lies. But as we navigate these tricky waters, we hold the anchor of our own truth. The challenge lies in staying grounded while everything around us feels like shifting sand. Every once in a while, we need to remind ourselves that honesty is more than a mere choice of words, it's a lifestyle. When we opt for authenticity, we're not only building a better version of ourselves but creating bridges, forming connections that matter. Lies may appear to erect walls, but truth? It's the glue that binds relationships, creating a colorful tapestry of shared experiences and genuine understanding. In a world where belief can often seem more palatable, the raw beauty of truth adds richness to our lives. Our stories are not just for appearance's sake, they shape our connections and narratives, navigating the beautiful mess of existence. And here's a little nugget of irony. While the pathological liar exhausts themselves building an unattainable reality, the rest of us have the exquisite choice to wear masks that dim our shine or to toss them aside. Embracing our flawed and messy selves, we can choose to write our own stories without embellishments. So perhaps in the end, every moment dedicated to unmasking ourselves is a celebration, a rallying call to be real in a world that often feels unreal.